Free FM 92.7.
Well, we're just getting some information regarding a national security exercise on some illicit drugs trade in this country. And my colleague and our correspondent, Stanley, is joining us right now. And we're getting information, Stanley, that the National Intelligence Bureau has intercepted some kilograms of cocaine from the central region. You have more details on this? What's happening?
Yes, so just the news came in about a couple of minutes ago, which TV3 and 3FM, we happened to be invited to the headquarters of the National Intelligence Bureau, that's NIB headquarters, where these parcels of cocaines have been confiscated and stored. So everything happened on 4th of this month, where upon intelligence, the officials or security services agents from the NIB were prompted to intercept a tipper truck carrying 143 sacks containing these cocaines, and the cocaines are in their raw form. So what the transporters did was that when they loaded the cocaines into the tipper trucks, then they covered the cocaines or the parcels with sand,
right,
to outwit security officials on the road. But upon security intelligence that was made available, or intel that was made available to NIB officials, they were able to stop the tipper truck, and then when they offload the sand, then they uncovered 143 sacks of cocaine loaded in the truck. So they then have to apprehend the driver and the mate. So they then took them back to Cape Coast, where this tipper truck was coming from. So when it happens like that, when they went to the house that they stored the cocaine from, they also uncovered a lot of cocaine parcels that have been wrapped and then stored at that place as well. And so they have to bring everything. So when they brought everything from on the 4th of this month, they then had to subject, because the news didn't come out early, because when you look at the time it was intercepted and now it's been about 3 weeks interval. And so for the reasons the National Intelligence Bureau authorities cited was that they wanted the officials, they wanted to conduct investigation to ensure that what they have actually intercepted was actually cocaine and not any other substance. So they then had to rope in the National Narcotic Control Commission, that NACOC, to conduct some laboratory tests on all the slabs that were actually confiscated. And the results that came out from the test proved positive, which suggests to mean that all the consignments that was intercepted came out positive, which means that this cocaine, and then when they quantify everything, the street value that they added or they ascribed to this quantum of cocaine that has been confiscated was pegged at $350 million, and which suggests to me that this cocaine, they are in their raw forms. They are now going to process it further to get the actual cocaine. And Alfred, I must also tell you that this cocaine is not originating from Ghana.
I see. Where's the origin, of origin?
So it was transshipments that took place at sea. And so they brought in from outside, but they used our marine space to transport the goods into the country. And then they gave it to a fisherman. There was a fishing vessel that fronted the whole thing, that brought everything from onshore to offshore. So when they came, then they have to bring in the tipper truck and the driver to offload all the consignments to Accra, so that when they get to Accra, they will then distribute it to their members or the agents that are supposed to, that have been detailed to receive the consignment. And so that actually happened. So when you look at it in kilogram wise, or when you equate it to a bag of cement, which means you are going to get about 60 bags of cement from the cocaine that have been confiscated so far.
60 bags.
60 bags of cocaine.
That's the in terms of the quantity.
The quantity,
of
yes.
of the cocaine that has been intercepted as we speak.
Yes.
So this is the 3,319 kilograms of cocaine.
Sure.
And this was intercepted at in the central region,
in the central region,
en route to Accra.
Accra, yeah.
I see. And so this is information we have. Stanley Niblewo, as my colleague, has been really working closely with the National Intelligence Bureau on this matter. And the information we're getting right now is that, as confirmed, that the details given by Stanley in studio, the National Intelligence Bureau has intercepted 3,319 kilograms of cocaine from the central region en route to Accra. The consignment tested positive after the Narcotics Control Commission subjected the substances to laboratory tests. If you go on our Facebook page right now at 3FM927, we're showing you videos of these intercepted packets of cocaine, 3,319 kilograms. Go on our Facebook page at 3FM927. We're showing you live videos of this interception right now. The cocaine, we understand, in its raw form, was loaded in a tipper truck. Stanley giving us the details right there. And Richard Commodore is a former operative of the National Intelligence Bureau, formerly BNI, is joining us on the telephone. Mr. Commodore, I want to find out what you make of this latest interception, especially coming on the back of the Narcotics Control Commission's own bust of one of the big drug dealers in this country, somewhere in Oyarifa, last week.
For some time now, if you follow for a few years now, Ghana has become not just an origin of narcotic drugs and many of the crimes you would think of, but we have also become a transit point and a destination point. And so in terms of country risks, our risk levels are very high. And so some people took a decision, which I was aware of, somewhere on the 20th of January 2025, that they will go very hard on surveillance and they will go very hard using high-level assets and informants in order to deal with narcotic drugs in particular and many of the nefarious activities passing through the borders of Ghana. I am aware there has been some seizures and searches at Kotoka International Airport Terminal 3 in particular. So at the backdrop of that, I am not surprised at all what the NACOP guys did last week and what we are hearing today. We just have to work as hard as any other country in order to clean our streets so that our country risk will come down. So I'm happy for them and we say kudos to them.
Well, but the details Stanley is giving us, this was an operation that was conducted on the 4th of this month, and it was actually onshore. And we understand that the whole transmission of the consignment was through a fishing vessel somewhere in the central region. Now, what does this bring to mind, especially because the focus, as you indicated, there's been a lot of interception at the Kotoka International Airport, but this transaction, we understand, took place at sea.
For some time now, from Adan, or let's even say, particularly from Adan right down to Elubo, you will see some fishing trolley activities which carry high drugs, not just weed, but cocaine, and many of the other ones you wouldn't want to mention on there. I'm aware some helicopter surveillance have gone on around many of our seashores, and I'm also aware frontiers of communities has been recruited and trained so that when you see something, you say something. I'm very sure that it was one of those outcomes that led to this particular arrest and surveillance. What they would need to do is to liaise a little bit more with the Navy, and that also means that they need to be equipped and they need to be empowered in terms of offshore surveillance purposes. If we put in a lot of resources, we will get the results. If we put in resources in training our people and providing the tools they needed, then these are some of the results to get. But after there's one thing getting the results of seizure and another thing dealing with the culprit and dealing with them precisely in the manner that would deter other people from getting involved. We have a practice in this country where people get involved in drugs and money laundering and many of those ones, and yet we are incapable of seizing properties that has been accrued out of these, and we call it proceeds out of crime. Until we are able to deal precisely with proceeds out of crime and put people where they belong when they are capable of doing some of these things, it's going to be the cycle where you make a seizure and they change the methodology and you keep on running, and they will always be one step ahead of you. So if your reporter is saying it's on the sea, it's not just the entry points, but today, right from down to Elubo has become entry points for some of these narcotic drugs, not just weed, but cocaine and many of those ones.
I appreciate you for this, as always.
Thank you.
Richard Commodore is a former operative of the National Intelligence Bureau right there. And Stanley, we understand there's been some arrests?
Yes, so far 2 people connected to this drug cartel, drug issue have been actually remanded into police custody. They've been taken to court, arraigned before courts, and then currently they've been remanded. I must also tell you that the owner of the vessel that actually brought this cocaine, parcels of cocaine from the sea to the land port, actually is at large, and there are, security details, tags to go and then look for any other person connected with this drug trafficking.
See, Stanley Nibley, appreciate you for this. Thank you so much. This morning is on 3.